Hey everyone, it's Rachel here, Oracle spiritual teacher and healer. Today we're going to look at the full moon for June, which is happening this Wednesday, June 11th. And again, I channeled everything, wrote it down because sometimes it's easier for me to do that. Sort of take time and dive back into what I want to be, or what wants to be shown to me or for me to hear, and just writing it down. So I think this video will be pretty quick. So this month, the full moon is in sidereal Scorpio, with both lunar nodes, the north node and the south node, being squared. So when I was looking at the energy around this full moon, it was very intense, probing energy, and it was like digging out of the earth, right? And things being brought up to the surface so everyone can see it, everyone can feel it. So emotions are high at a full moon, and that's pretty normal for every full moon because the energy is more intense, and so whatever is coming up emotionally, it's heightened at that time. So this full moon's no different. And so remembering that can be any emotion, right? So it can be positive emotions, it can be not so positive emotions. It's just emotions. There is a purging quality to this full moon. So again, it's like the digging up and bringing out. And this feeds right into this other aspect, which is the moon squaring both the north node and the south node. So the south node is our past. It's the life and the lessons we've already learned, that we've already sort of walked. It's relatively what we're comfortable with. It's what we know. And it's like we've been there, done that sort of thing. The north node is what we're here to do. It's what we're here to learn. It's how we're here to grow. And it's our path. It's our purpose. Okay. So it's going to feel sometimes uncomfortable, because it is new, because it is a place we're trying to grow into. And specifically, I've talked about this before when I do the energy forecasts around the moon. The Western astrology or tropical astrology doesn't tell us what we're here to grow into. It tells us what we came into this life with. But if you look at sidereal, Vedic astrology, it's mapping out what your soul has said. This is what I want to accomplish. This is how I want to grow. These are the sort of relationships I want to have. This is the kind of work I want to do this life. So it's literally a map of the potential you have, the potential of what to grow into this life. And then mind astrology is like soul level, who you are on a soul level. So where did I leave off? So when there's a square, that means there's this opportunity for growth. There's this tension, right? It's not a flow. It's not easy. So with the square of the moon with both nodes, there's the tension of where you're coming from individually and collectively, and where are you going to individually and collectively. So there's this sort of almost like a push-pull of, am I going to stay with what I know? Are we going to stay with what we know, where we've been? Again, been there, done that. Or are we going to get uncomfortable and grow into our potential, right? Individually and collectively. So that's what the square with this moon is. And it's bringing up all the feelings around that. And so depending on where you are in, on your path, in your process, that can feel really good. Like, oh yeah, I'm growing. There's these new opportunities coming in. There's these new perspectives coming into my being. Or it can be like, feel really scary and feel really uncertain. So just noticing that for yourself. Yeah, so since the moon is our subconscious mind, right? It's what's underneath the surface. Our feelings regarding all these things are going to come up. And again, it's going to be like it's probing, digging it all out, bringing it all up. Let's see, I may have already said all of this. Yes, higher self, purpose. Okay, so just some final thoughts around what I wrote. It's a transformational full moon, without a doubt. Individually and again collectively, because even if you look at a country, the birth day and time that a country became a country, or a state became a state, or a city became a city, right? That's the birthday of that place or that location. The north and south node are going to affect um, those things as well. It's not just people, but it's also where we live, organizations, businesses, all of that. So you could literally do the astrology of your company if you have one, or the start of a relationship, whatever, the birth of anything, you can do an astrological map for. So take it easy. Watch how you feel, right? So observe what's coming up, um, and just have compassion for yourself and other people. It's such a time of change right now. And again, some people have an easier time with it than others. Some people have more to process, more to look at, again, depending on where you are in your life, how much sort of introspection and work you've already done. And again, there's no judgment there. But if you've sort of been on more of a spiritual path for a long time, it's going to feel a little bit easier than if you haven't. So just having compassion for yourself and for other people, because you never know, what's coming up for people, or what's going to come up for you. So I'm going to pick a few oracle cards around this, and I'm going to just shuffle off to the side so it doesn't get too loud in the microphone. And we'll see what else I want to share around this full moon. Okay. Creativity. This has been coming up a lot lately. It's the creative thinking. It's like the creative problem solving. It's like getting creative about how to move forward, how to do things in a new way, how to like interact with people, like collaborate with people. It's getting really creative about how to sort of handle the constant flux of change that's taking place right now in the world. That's what that's about. Patience. Yeah, I think we had that a few weeks ago too. We all need that, because everything is changing, and it eventually will start to feel much better than it does now. If you're interested at all in Mayan astrology, I don't know exactly the time frame, but there are several years in which they describe this time as coming into the new earth. I just looked that up the other day. But again, it's a process. It's not going to happen in a year or 2 or 5 years, right? It's even longer than that. So it's being patient and consistently sort of stepping forward, showing up for yourself, showing up for others, specifically your community and the people you love, right? Because that's within our capacity. Courage. Basically, don't back down. Don't back down in the things that you believe in, the things you believe should be created, what you believe needs to end, because that's all taking place right now. And I've spoken about this before. All this sort of chaos is to bring an end to the things that aren't working anymore, so we can rebuild them in a better way, in a way that does work for people. And the adventure. That's a good way of thinking about life right now. That's a little bit more uplifting than chaotic, even though it is in a lot of ways. But thinking about it as an adventure, exploring a new land or going to a new land, sort of a positive way to look at that. And because, things are new, things will continue to feel new and like uncharted territory. It is kind of like an adventure, right? Like an explorer. Just a few more cards. I already shuffled this one. Healing is taking place. I know it says you are a healer, but it's talking about they're talking about the healing that's taking place for the collective. A lot of healing taking place for the collective right now, and will continue. And people's consciousness is awaking. Higher consciousness energy is coming through. And if you've been watching me for, I've only started this channel, I think, in February. But if you've been watching the videos, the different videos I post, this has been ongoing. People getting downloads, their consciousness lifting. So, them being able to perceive more just truth. So it not being colored or filtered or, sort of a filter put on in any way, but really coming to more and more truth, which, it sets us free in so many ways, but really emotionally and emotionally and mentally right now is what it's doing. So a higher consciousness is coming through and will continue to. And the watch your words. What's that have to do with? Let me see. This has to do with be aware of the energy you're putting out into the world. So that's one way in which we do that, is how we speak, because our words carry a vibration. And we want to be conscious of the vibration we're putting out in the world. But it's literally what vibration are we? What frequency are we? How are we showing up in the world? And being really conscious of that. Are we, sort of just talking doomsday all the time and putting a lot of that heavy, more negative energy out there? Or are we staying, looking towards the light, focusing on the light? Because it really does make such a big difference in our own psychological and emotional state, but also for the collective. All right, that's it for today. If you haven't signed up, please sign up, like, subscribe. It's all appreciated and helpful. I'll see you all soon.